Aw, okay. Thank you. Love you.
Hello, this is Dapper Anderson, the Black Woman Animator, coming back to you with another video. And in this video, I have Edward Eddie Clark. Welcome to my platform.
Well, thank you for having me. I really appreciate you reaching out to me and saying you want to do this. I'm like, yes, of course I want to do this. So yes, I want to meet more people in the industry. Yeah.
So can you give a little intro, like a little bio about yourself?
Well, my name is Edward Clark. People call me Eddie, but I'm from Vallejo, California, Bay Area. So for some reason, no one pronounced the D's in my name where I'm from. They're like, hey, Edward. So Edward, I'm used to that. It's I'm from the Bay Area, but it's really country. Yeah. So I went to San Jose State, and I studied animation illustration there. After school, I kind of just freelancing. I've been doing a lot of things. There's a lot of little different things, but I'm a Disney lover. You guys see behind me on my wall, I have all these Pixar stuff like that, and I love Disneyland so much. That inspires me so much in how I am, so colorful person. Love fashion. I grew up singing. I do a lot of little things, but animation is my heart. Because it's what opened the door for many things.
Yeah. So you already said where you're from. So how was it growing up?
How was it growing up? I think I had a pretty fun childhood, I would say. But of course, it's struggles here and there. When I was growing up in Vallejo, I just did a whole bunch of everything. Literally, I was in church. And when you're in church, you got to do everything. You got to be at the choir, you got to be the usher board, you got to be. I had many different hats on, just as a person.
I did that too.
Yeah, if you weren't black in the church, you weren't an usher, then what were you doing? You were just a spectator, So all those things. And where was I going with this? I'm a lot. But anyway, but growing up, I always been drew and was just drawing all the time. My brother, I was at the time, he was going to UC Davis. He would come home from college, and I was draw me something. It'd be either a comic or usually it's for me, it was something like a Disney book, but my brother loved comics and Marvel, DC, and he had all the old comic books. So I got that kind of passion and love for drawing because I saw my brother doing it. And my father was an illustrator. Say what?
Is your brother an artist?
No, actually, he's a comedian.
Okay.
He's a comedian. So yeah, I think he got a business degree at UC Davis and then didn't use it. So I'm gonna do comedy. So that happened. But he always came home and was drawing. And my dad was a house painter. Nice. So it was always kind of artsy fartsy something in my house, a little bit of something. But in school, I would draw, of course, on my projects. I would love to do that. And then in 11th grade, I actually get to my first art class. That's part of the electives when you do art in high school. And I drew a picture of my grandfather. And she's like, oh my God, you can really draw. She's like, you should keep going. And I was like, you think so? And she's like, yeah. I was like, okay, I'll do it. So I kept pursuing it, but there wasn't any art around me. Vallejo is more so if you weren't doing sports, that was your only way to college, and I always see myself as college material. But then someone told me about going to Solano Community College, as a college nearby. Community college, you didn't have to do any SATs or ACTs. I wasn't doing no the T's. I wasn't doing none of them. I wasn't doing any of them. So I was like, you know what? That's where I'm going to go, community college. And I met so many different people. I rock hard for community college because the show, the show Community, you seen that show?
Yeah.
Community is so funny because it's all these different people coming together, different age groups, old people, young people, people that were in jail, grandmothers going to school, everyone's different and they're all freshmen.
Yeah.
And so I got to have all those different experiences. And I was doing all of that also while being in the arts classes. And I was also a music minor at the time as well. And so I was trying to get all this information, but I'm glad I did that because I got to experience. I had a teacher at school who was my illustrator from the 40s, painting like gouache. And I love that because I always admired watching how Disney films are made. And one of my favorite films would be Alice in Wonderland. And I just love that old style, the 50s drawings, and like just that hand drawn, like you made this with your hands. Your hands made that. That's crazy. That's wild. That's phenomenal. That's the most, to me, it's like the biggest magic trick you can do in life. You're fooling the eye because it's not real. It's not real. It's just a story being told, but you tell it so well, you draw it, so you do it so well that we believe it and we have emotions attached to it. I don't know if I answered your question, but I think I did.
Yeah, growing up was great. I know great, y'all had like little trips. Y'all went on vacation or something and stuff.
Yeah, my father was a painter. He worked for Oakland Post Office. That's we from Oakland, Vallejo. And my mom had a government job working with school, but they worked really hard. And one thing I always loved about my parents was they always took us to Disneyland. Not always, but like they would try their best to do it. We were an RV family. We drove everywhere. I drove up and down all the West Coast to Canada, all the way from Vallejo to Florida, Disney World, going, I love doing all that, like those family moments, those family trips. And Disney's always a special thing for my family. As for most families, it's a culture. It's Americana, but for me, I always took an extra step. I just love the singing, the music, the animation. I'm also a ride junkie. Like, if Imagineer sees me out there one of these days, come pick me up. I just want to be a part. When I'm riding something at Disneyland, I will turn back around to see the show lights, to see how you do. I'm like, looking behind the curtain, like, what y'all doing back there? I want to see, because that's the same way for films. Like, I always would watch the behind the scenes of films and seeing them go to, like, for Mulan, seeing them go to China and like experiencing those things. I found out mostly biz dev artists do that. I'm like, I want to go too. I'm not a biz dev artist, but like, I still want to go. You got an extra ticket, but like, I love that. And they bring that to the parks. They bring that storytelling. It's not just a generic ride. No, we're gonna give you experience. We're gonna give you experience. Even with the movies, they give you an experience. And I always was connected to that, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, there is one documentary on Disney Plus where they was following Walt Disney, and there was one episode or one part where it concentrated on an amusement park, and I was like, "Ooh, this is interesting."
Yeah, I think it's so amazing because like the animators and the people that made or in the studio built that park, and that's so fascinating to me. I'm very biased. I think Disneyland is the best park because I'm from California. We the OGs. But like that's the one part that Walt Disney actually walked through. But to see, I love that everything's a story. Even when you walk into Disneyland, it's the red bricks, like a movie theater, and you see the posters on the side, what's to come, the trailers, and then you walk down Main Street and you see all these names on the windows, and that's the credits, because back in the old days, the credits were first. I love that because give honor to those who help create something first before, like, nowadays we leave the theater. Right. I ain't finna stay. Let's never. That's why you got to put the end credit scene. Marvel films, you got to make them stay. Right. They work really hard, and I appreciate everyone's job in a film or in that work. And so, like, I always connected to that. Like that. It's fascinating to me. I can go on and on about that. Lord, stop.
So how supportive were your parents in your artistic wants?
Pretty supportive. They are older generation. My parents are baby boomers. I'm a love child. I was the good time, but they always like, yes, go pursue this. They worked really hard get me through college to study what I wanted to study. But there was also that level of like security. Go ahead and get that job security.
Yeah.
You know, I connect so much with Soul, so much with that movie. You know, like because the artist's life is like, you know, we're here and there. It takes you anywhere, and there could be good days or bad days, but the world wouldn't go around without us. You know, because we make the culture, we make things hot. We are the selling point. You know, so but they always were pretty supportive in that regard. But I went to there was some pushback of like, you know, well, they're hiring over here. You want to go get that job, you know? But I always respected them because, especially coming from like Black parents, they want you to be okay. They want you to be okay, you know, and that's always kind of like scary for some parents, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're great parents. I love them so much. And my mom was very instrumental, like helping me out through college. That was a really rough time, but no matter what, my parents wanted me to finish and keep going no matter what. Just keep going, you know, because it's not easy. It's not easy. Yeah.
So, let's see. So your 2D animation is really beautiful. Like, what's the project, your most recent project that you've been working on with the woman in the kitchen? Like, what inspired you to animate that?
You know, that animation took a long time. Ashamed to say, but like about 3 years, because I kind of started in 2018 after I graduated school, but I was really burnt out from school, like no joke. I was like tired of all the homework assignments and like I just wanted a break from animation, to be honest with you. But I kept going to like pursue it, but like I wasn't going as hard as I think I should have been. But everything happens for a reason, you know. Everything happens for a reason. And I actually was taking a class at a place called Animation Collaborative, which is across the street from Pixar, and I was taking a class with Frank Abney. Because Frank Abney, I met him at the Walt Disney Museum at like a panel speaking for college students, and I was like, "Oh my God, Black man!" Like, "Hello, how you doing?" And I was like, all up in his grill. I was like, just talking his ear off, and I was like, "So you teach your class? Okay, I'll be there." And I was like, so serious, I was gonna be there. And so I graduated, even though I was tired of animation. I was like, I'm coming to your class. I'm going to do this. And it was hard because, like, you know, the traffic in the Bay Area, and I was coming all from San Jose. It's like an hour with traffic. It's like an hour to change, you know. I was like, I'm coming to class. We don't do this.
Right.
You know, and then it was so inspiring being with him because he just said, no matter what, just keep going. Keep going. And like, his story was so touching to me, and it was that he got into animation because he lost his father. That was one of the inspirations. He lost his father, and The Lion King was really inspirational to him. And recently, this year, I lost my father earlier this year, and so
sorry to hear that.
Thank you so much for that. I love like the people have like, you know, come to like my aid and my side to lift me up. But over those years from graduating and taking Frank's class, I remember like him saying like I was gonna do this no matter what. And so during this home stretch of like trying to do this 2D animation, because it started completely different. It started 3D actually. I was gonna do it 3D, but in school I had a hard time with 3D animation. Like the computer was like, just move the arm right here, just go here, like just stop. Why is the graph not doing what I want it to do? You know, it's like it's a lot. But even in that, I kept hearing other animators saying, like, you know, you got to find what you love. You find what you love. And I love 3D. I really, really do. Even though I wrestle with Maya in the computer program sometimes, I always kept it with like 2D animation. And so even like hearing Frank's story about his father and like, I'm going to keep going, I'm going to keep pushing. That's how it was my driving force to get this done, you know. And this year's been it's been pretty challenging. A lot of like different changes in my life, and I was like, no matter what, I'm gonna finish this shot. And I posted it on like on Instagram, and it was like doing okay, like all right. And then my friend, I went to school with, Micah. She's like at Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon, all these amazing places, and she's like, Eddie, oh my God, you finished it. Can I post this on Twitter? And I was like, yeah, you totally can. Like, retweet it. And like people started like really liking it. I was like, oh my gosh, like I didn't expect that at all. Didn't expect that at all. And I wasn't trying to animate for that reason and for the validation of people. I just kept feeling like Frank said, keep going, keep finishing. I know my dad would want me to finish it as well, and I have put like some things that made me inspired inside that shot as well. Like in the background, my amazing friend Sam Keston painted the background. But I like drew like the kitchen, and that I drew that kitchen right after the funeral. I started like drawing that. And like I was like just trying to put elements that I know I would connect to. And there's a actually on the refrigerator on that shot, there's like a magnets on there, and there's like a Mickey Mouse donut magnet. My friends is like, I see a hidden Mickey there, and my dad's name is Michael, but his nickname was Mickey. So I didn't do it because I love Mickey Mouse, but that's like on to my dad, And then there's like a JB, which is my mom. Nice. So like just putting your own connection into your art, and that helped me really get through it. Putting my experiences inside that, and then the acting. I love taking reference. And also taking a reference class during the time my father passed away at Animation Collaborative, and like we just went so hard about like story, about like where's the character feeling in this moment. It's not just moving for a purpose, And I also find it throughout this shot, I started one place, I animated it again during the pandemic, and I was like, took the story class and the acting reference class. I was like, you know what? I can't use this. I scrapped it all. I was like, nope, I gotta get rid of this. It's not working. And then like, I never animated Steam before, which was a big challenge. And I animated like 3 times, like probably more than 3 times, but like, and just not being afraid to like throw away what you think is so precious, because it could always get better. And like asking for help, asking your community for help. Amazing friend at Yuri Decker at Pixar, amazing animator. But those things that always translate, even though he's like a 3D animator, he has that 2D magic in his work and that 2D timing. And so like I always try to like give it my shots back to him. Like, hey, can you look at this? Can you retime it? He'll always retime it. And I'm like, you are a god. Thank you for always like, reaching out, because that's one thing I notice is that sometimes Black artists, we just need help. We just need help. We just need somebody to reach back and like help us to get better,
Yeah, I'm doing this freelance thing where I'm doing like activities for Blender. And so one of the units was on animation, and I'm a 3D modeler. I'm not an animator. So
yes.
I did, one of the unit on animation was, they had to do the 12 principles of animation. So I was like, okay, pick 6. And then I did like a little example animation using like an advanced ball rig. So it was just a ball with the tail or whatever. And I did it did the jump, squash and stretch jump. And then it, kind of wiggled or whatever. And I showed somebody it, and they're like, and I was like, what would you change? And they were like, decrease the amount of frames at the beginning of the jump and the end of the jump. And so I did it in Blender, and I was like, I don't see the difference, but I know I decreased the scale of the keyframe. And then I showed them. They're like, yeah, it looks better. I'm like, good. I don't see. I'm sure if I compare contrast, I'll see it. But just like, since I'm not an animator, I was like, I know it's different because I did it, but I don't see it.
But hey, I love that you tried it. Like, that's amazing, because when I was in school, we had to learn.
I can animate. It's just not my ministry. Like, I want you to tell the story of how you met a famous Black storyboard artist your senior year of college, I believe.
Oh snap! Come on, research. You better dig a little deeper. Oh my goodness! Dang. Okay. Yes. Wow. Floyd Norman. Whoa! You better do your research. I love that. Yes. Okay. Set me up again. That was just blew my mind. Let's restart. In action.
Tell me how you met Floyd Norman.
Oh God, Floyd Norman. Floyd Norman. That was crazy. That was wild.
Tell the whole story.
The whole story. Okay, senior year, San Jose State University. I'm like I'm the only Black person. We have 4 disciplines. We have visual development, animation, storyboarding, and 3D modeling. And so when you get to your senior year, you kind of like this morph into your area. So I was part of the animators. Right. Only Black one.
Okay.
Only Black one. Mm-hmm. I could count all the Black people on my hand in my graduating class, Mm-hmm. And so my animation teacher, she always just had a heart for me. I loved her because she's like a mom. She's like a mom. She wanted all of us to do well, no matter what. And we always I was part of a club called the Shrunken Head Men Club. Shout out to my mm-hmm. club. Love you guys so much. But we always had speakers in mm-hmm. every month or every week or so, a speaker from my industry. Mm-hmm. And so mm-hmm. Floyd Norman was on the schedule. And I was like, oh, yes. Like, oh my gosh. Yes, I'm going to be there. Like, hell yeah, let's do this thing. And so as we slowly approached that Friday, because we always had class on Fridays, my teacher asked me to stay back after class. I'm like, yeah, what's up? And she was like, hey, wait, sorry. Actually, I left class and then I got a text message from my teacher. It's like, hey, do you want to come to the airport with me to pick up Floyd Norman and his wife? And I'm like, what you mean? Like, go to the airport and pick him up in the airport? Be in the car together? Yeah, I'll come with you. Yeah, it's fine. I have time. And I was freaking out on the inside, who goosebumps? This man is a legend. He's a Disney legend, Mm-hmm. And my teacher actually told me on our way driving to the airport, and we have traffic around this time, 3:00. Sounds like it's booked with traffic. So we're just sitting there just talking. She's like, you know what? I actually booked him because of you. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh my God, that's so that's very special. Out of all these students, you ask him to come speak to the school because of my behalf, because she knew that mm-hmm. I needed to see other Black faces, and especially somebody that's a legend, it was just unbelievable. And so we went mm-hmm. to the airport, and you have those movies and you see the one with the sign, pick it up, Johnny, from the airport, and a little top hat. I didn't have a top hat, but I had the sign, and I have a Mickey Mouse on it. And then my teacher was like, if you see him, let me know. I was okay. And then all the people walking by. I'm like, okay, I don't see him. I know what he looked like, I know what he looks like for sure. And mm-hmm. he never came out. And she's like, I'm going downstairs by baggage claim. I'm just going to go down by stairs and you stay over there. And she's panicking. I'm like, okay, I think he's here. I'm pretty sure his flight has landed. Come downstairs. He's actually already down there getting his bags. I don't know how I missed him, but I missed my sign. And I was like, well, put my sign back in my backpack. All right. And so we get into his car, and then just sitting there talking with him and his lovely wife, Adrian. Oh my goodness. And the conversations we were having in the car were just unbelievable. Floyd was pretty tired. But he loves talking. I love that he loves to talk to people and to tell stories. And his wife is so sassy and so witty. I love it. She was so funny. At the time, Childish Gambino's "This Is America" had came out, mm-hmm. and for some reason we just got on that topic of that video. And it's I'm talking to a Disney legend about Childish Gambino and Black Panther and rap music, and this is wild. Mm-hmm. And getting to know her was amazing as well, because she paints for the illustrations for Disney books, for children's books. So amazing mm-hmm. painter, amazing artist, both of them. And it was so funny. We had to like drop them off at the hotel, and Taylor Swift was in town. All the celebrities was coming in town, I guess. So the hotel was booked. There was Taylor Swift fans everywhere. And then we had this fun banter back and forth. And then I'm so glad because there's more traffic to get back to the campus. I was like, yes, more traffic. I can spend more time like one-on-one with you and talk to you. And I asked him, like, how was Walt Disney? Like, you never get to ask somebody that, like, that has met Walt Disney. And he was just like, he's an amazing man. And a lot of times people have the wrong impression, especially when you pass away and you can't tell your story anymore. And, you know, and then it changes over time. They say he was a really kind man, always loved fresh ideas. And he was there during the time of Sleeping Beauty and The Jungle Book. Just an amazing time to be at the Disney studio and with the 9 old men and learning from them. And it was the most magical experience for me. And then we also got a chance to like have lunch before he came to our school and lectured. And it's like, yes, more time with him. Like this, I just want that, you know. I don't know if he remembers my face. I know his wife does, but like we just talked about our love for music and her love for music. And she was an amazing person, also being part of the Black Panther movement. And just sitting in the car with so much knowledge and history was unbelievable. And most people don't get that kind of opportunity or that chance to do that. So I don't take that for granted, you know. And when he did speak at our school, one thing he said to end his lecture, his father said, you know, son, I don't want you to, you know, you need to have a backup plan. I don't want you to fail. And he told his dad, I don't intend to fail. And that mindset, I was like, woo, chills. Come on, chills. Like, you know, that mindset of like, I'm not going to fail. I'm going to succeed, you know, because a lot of times people want us to fail or don't want us to succeed, especially as Black creators, you know, and that just gave me so much goosebumps, so much fire, you know, like I have to keep going no matter what. And the last thing I asked him, I'm a big Muppet fan. If I couldn't be Animator, I want to be on Sesame Street. Wink, wink, Sesame Street, come get me. You know, I want to be a Muppeteer. But like I asked, I said, have you ever met Jim Henson? And he was like, yeah, I met him in the elevator one time. And it was a great conversation. He was really nice. And that was it. And I was like, like to be in the presence of someone who has rubbed shoulders with Walt Disney and Jim Henson, these amazing directors and creators. And I love, they're a big inspiration to me because they don't say no to an idea. It's like, how can we figure it out?
Yeah.
You know, and that's something that I think is so amazing because now we're seeing all these amazing films coming out with different looks, with different styles. You know, I'm glad that everything's not like a Pixar looking. Pixar is not even Pixar no more. They're like changing their whole look up too. I'm like, yes, like how else can we tell this story? How else can we have other shapes, other designs? You know, so an amazing moment. We'll never forget it. I'll tell the story until the day I die.
Yeah, I got to meet Floyd when I was living in New Orleans. I just moved from New Orleans to LA last year, and Essence Festival, they had his documentary, and so, you know, a lot of people at Essence Festival are not like animation fans, so he was just walking and don't nobody know who he is, even though they want to see his film. So I was like, okay, I know who he is, so let me go talk. Hello, Floyd. So we had a really good conversation while I was standing in line. And then like I took a selfie, but I'm a trash millennial, so it was all blurry and stuff. But yeah, I got to meet his wife too. And after his film aired, he, you know, talked, and then he drew like little images for everybody. And so I had him draw Scooby-Doo because like when I was in Korea, I worked on Scooby-Doo, and he said how he hated Scooby-Doo, and I had like a hateful experience with Scooby-Doo too. So I like to commemorate our hate. Can you please draw Scooby-Doo?
Yes.
So it's somewhere in storage, but I still got it.
That's the best experience. Like this drawing from Floyd Norman. Like, our hate for Scooby-Doo.
Because my director was asking for something. I'm like, what do you want? Leave me alone. So yeah. So can you tell me what is This Friend Live?
Come on with the research even more. I love it. This Friend Live started out of boredom during the pandemic. It's a weekly live that I do with my good friend Dominic Brown. And we met on Dapper Day at Disneyland. And we just like connected, like, yes, you my friend. You my friend.
Okay,
and
give a little tidbit about what Dapper Day is right quick for the
sorry. Dapper Day is a biannual event at Disneyland and Disney World where people dress up in that 1950s look, very dapper, very stylish. Because that's how the park opened up. When people first came to Disneyland, you didn't just come in like jeans, like you still came in like your Sunday dress in a way. It was kind of weird, but like, it was probably on a Sunday, because average Americans have to work, and so Saturday, Sunday, you're gonna look pretty good. Maybe after church, let's go to Disneyland. Dollar entry. Yeah. So it's that same event. I love good clothes. I love looking dapper, and so I just kept going. After school, I made it my personal goal to buy myself a Disneyland pass. That was my gift to myself for graduating. I was like, you worked pretty hard. I think we should do this. It's a little chunk of change, but let's go and do it. And so I just kept going, and I would go by myself. I would get on the bus. I might as well go to Disneyland, a happy place. Let me just go walk around the park, And so I met all these amazing friends, and started going to Dapper Day. And then I met my friend Dom there, and she was dressed up as Princess Tiana, in the yellow dress, her server dress. And there's this picture of us. She has the beignets, and she's like serving it to me. And so really didn't even like know each other like that, but we kept going. I said, "Hey girl, what's you doing?" Like, I ain't do nothing. Let's meet up at Disneyland. Like, hell yeah, let's do it. And she lives like down what's that street? Butcher this name. If you live in LA and Anaheim, it's that one street where Disneyland's on. She lives all the way down that street, all the way to Long Beach, a straight shot. She's like, I'm on the street right now. Let's go. And so pandemic happened and can't go to Disneyland no more. Can't see my LA friends. And so I said, hey, want to get on live and let's just just shoot the shit and just talk. And she was like, hell yeah. So we just kept doing it. First it was like about nothing, literally about nothing. We just talking and just like, I miss Disneyland, girl. You miss it? Yeah, me too. All right. I wish we could go get some beignets, stuff like that. And then we started reviewing movies. Reviewing some movies. And that was where we kind of kept the ball rolling. And just taking from a Black perspective. We're not researching it hella hard. I might get some fun facts here and there. I might get them wrong, but it's just for comedy, just for entertainment, and our friends we're supporting it. And there are Diz friends. That's how I call them. My Disneyland friends, no, nigga, Diz friends. That's how we say it, and I was always kind of just weary of being in that space because there's not a lot of Black men going to Disneyland for fun. I'm a big kid. But we just connected on that Black level, and then also that Disney level. We're just adults, we're kids of this generation, and we're the generation of nostalgia. We love our cartoons, Saturday morning cartoons, and we all have that connection. And going to Disneyland was that connection as well. And so we just kept reviewing movies here and there. I think the best one we did, and it's not even there anymore because my phone overheated and I couldn't upload. My phone just shut down during the middle of the live. I was interviewing. We watched the movie Holes, and we got to interview. I'm about to forget his name right now. Please forgive me. We interviewed Zero. The actor.
He's doing stuff with all them digital.
I'm forgetting his name right now. I'm so sorry. You are the most kindest soul, the amazing Cleo. That's his name. Sorry, Cleo. And I got to talk with him and just connect with him, and not knowing that this friend would turn into like something we get to interview people on the films, and also interview like we interviewed Frank Abney when Soul came out, got his perspective on it, because that's important to us.
Nice.
You know, in the Black community, we are fans out there. And it was really apparent during the pandemic, after all the deaths happening and the news, and people were like, oh, let's look at the Black creators. What are they doing? You know, I'm sad that you looked at us for that reason, but I'm glad that you see us now. And we are out here, and I have many amazing friends that are doing amazing things with their Instagram accounts and their platform now. Like my friend Bree, like she wrote this rap about how she loved and missed Disneyland, and it got on Good Morning America, and then Disneyland actually invited her to like do a commercial and do a TikTok. She was the first person to come back to Disneyland after it's been shut down for over a year. That's monumental, because Disneyland doesn't shut down really. It's like 24/7, operates all the time. Christmas ain't no holiday. They got to go work, you know. But like to see that we are a culture, we're a vibe, you know. And I'm glad that DisFriend has kind of like been a platform for that community to talk to other Black creators. You know, they may not be in the animation industry. They love animation. They love parks. They love being a big kid, you know. And so shout out to my good friend Dom. That's my homegirl. That's my DisFriend, you know. So all that Black shit.
So once you got your Disney Plus, you was trying to go like twice a month to Disneyland, right?
Oh man, it got bad one time. I was in a relationship one of those months, and I was like trying not to be in it no more. And I had all this. I worked for a theme park. Story time. I worked for a theme park out here in the Bay Area called California's Great America. And it's run by Cedar Fair. So I was in a theme park literally every day of the week, because I would be at work. And then when you work at a theme park, if it's not Disneyland, you usually close like Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday. And then open on the weekends. So I was like, you know what? I ain't got shit to do. And the bus ticket to LA isn't expensive. And so I would go like, I think 1 month I went every weekend. I was on the bus, like I'm a backpack, you know, like I'm out of here, you know, because it's surprising. It's not surprising. As African Americans, we see a lot of trauma daily. Daily, you know, and so sometimes you want to people say Disneyland's escapism. I'm like, yeah, you can call it that, because we all need an escape for a moment, you know, and so it's nothing harmful to me. I'm not in your pockets, so I was just going. I was like, let me go ride Space Mountain this weekend, because I am stressed, you know. Let me just go do that.
So you know, like usually for people, if they go to like an amusement park, it's like, oh, let's go like once a year or once every couple of years. Like, what do you experience with going to Disneyland? Like, how does it stay new? Like, how do you not get tired of it? Like, what is going so many times? What is it for you?
Number one, not having kids. Woo, thank you, God. Because it's a lot of work trying to be a parent and like do a vacation. So that was also one thing. I didn't have that burden of like, you know, not burden. Ooh, Lord. No, I didn't have that responsibility of, you know, having children right now. So I'm like, I got time, you know, and I just graduated. I'm trying to like celebrate and live it up, you know. But one thing, because I was working at a theme park, I worked at Great America about 3 years as a performer doing shows. And then I transitioned into like doing wardrobe. I don't sew, but like I was like working in the wardrobe department, helping out with Halloween stuff, and help decorating like mazes and experiences. And then kind of worked my way into like decor and like helping like decorate the park. So like all those things, when I would go back to Disneyland, I'd be like fascinated in all those small details of how you make an experience. you know, and so like I would go back for the rides one time, or I wouldn't ride anything at all. I would take pictures. I love composition and like, you know, colors. Like to me, Disneyland's like a big giant coloring book. Like it's just art everywhere. It's beautiful art all the time. Lighting and like literally doing shows at Great America, seeing like the I was always friends with everybody. I'm never like a cliquish person. I'm like, what you doing over here? You know, and so like I literally had a chance to like paint props and paint stages and like design things for a whole area of a park. It's like that stuff drew me in as well. Like I geek out when like Fantasmic happens and like I see the stage lights come up. I'm like, that makes me excited because like they're using everyday stuff you see in the theater, and that's another big part of my life is like theater, and like and acting. That's why I love acting and animation. Like all that stuff is like a storytelling. It's happening all the time. So like I never get tired of it really, because you can spend one day or be in one area of the park for so long and then forget about the other areas because you're basically watching a movie. Like when I got to go be Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, it was phenomenal. Like, you know, my dad loved watching Star Wars films and like getting to like, step into that. My dad would have loved that, you know, and like seeing the details, seeing like I love the details. That's what makes it chef's kiss for me, you know, and that's what you do in animation. Like you start off with a blank screen, blank paper, whatever it is, you have to make the details.
Right.
You got to do that. And like I'm not a modeler. I bless your heart. I took modeling class. I passed with a B, but he was really like adamant about like when you model this building, there's no building that's clean because when it rains and the rain comes down and it hits the side of the building, there's mud splatter on the side of the house. There's details everywhere. Everything has a story and a purpose. And like literally when I go to Disneyland, I see that kind of stuff. Like it's like stepping into a film. Like no one made this dirty. You know, the Imagineers, they painted it this way. They made the rocks this way because they're telling a story. And so I literally equate theme park and movies, like they're like equal to me. Like, cause you're telling a story, you're creating from scratch. There's no blueprint for this. How do we make this up? How do we tell a believable story? You know, every turn that you go, you know? So I never get tired really, because there's always something to see. And I will watch a performer sing their heart out. And I'm like, yes, you did that. You told the story how you wanted to tell it. You did it. You know, I
you ain't throwing shoes like Jennifer Hudson, are you?
Come on, like I'm a scream all day from the back of my throat. You know, I'm a mess when I go.
So how many Disney, Pixar, all the clothes you got?
How many of them clothes? You know, that's the one thing I will buy is like Disney shirts. I don't buy them very often. It's surprising. People say like, you know, hey, how much Disney clothes and stuff you got? You know, I really don't buy a lot of things. Like when I go to Disneyland, Dom will tell you, Edward don't really buy nothing but ears. I'll hold the ears and I'll like say, do I need these today? Do I need it? $30 could go somewhere else. That could be gas. You know, I'm not that impulsive Disney shopper. I'm really not. I'm okay. My first job was working at the Disney store when I was in high school. And I was like, oh, this is nice, but guess what? It's not worth it. It's plastic. To me, what I will spend money on is art. Like if someone had painted a certain painting, or like these posters back here from Pixar, and I'm a crafter. If I can make it, why do I buy it? That's my idea sometimes, you know, if I could make that, you know. So like I love getting artwork, and I might get some things here and there, but comes to Disney clothes, if I see it at Marshall's on a good deal, most of my clothes aren't even Disney clothes, they're just colorful clothes. I just stand by colorful items at Disneyland. So I fool the eye. It's called an illusion.
And you have wardrobe changes sometimes, huh?
Oh, dang, who told you? You did. You must have went deep diving. Yes, because Because there's a reason. When I do go to Disneyland, I might pack 3 outfits. I might do outfit change, you know, act 1, act 2, and act 3. Because when you live in the Bay Area, I'm not coming down all the time. So I got to take photos like as if I was there like 5 days in a row. You know, Disneyland on a budget. I can help you out.
So it's strategic. I get you. I got you.
You know, I wasn't that rich. I had enough money to pay for the pass. Okay. I will buy a pair of ears, popcorn, and I guarantee you I'll buy some jelly beans at the end of the day. That's what I will buy. But I will go to McDonald's outside the park. Yes.
You did take really good pictures. What kind of you got an iPhone or something? How do you take them pictures?
It is an iPhone. It is not that impressive. It truly isn't. Yet again in school, everyone had a Canon camera and was taking amazing reference, and I always had my phone. You know, I was like, "Ooh, technology!" But you know, I just love editing afterwards. And to me, I like to bump up the colors because I think brown skin or most cameras I feel like aren't made for our skin. We're not the default, you know. So that's why I look a little darker right now because it's a default. It's black skin, you know. So like I always know if it's 5 o'clock or between 5 and 7, we're not riding anything. We're taking photos because that's good light. That's good light. Okay, you don't stand behind the sun. You know, sun needs to be in front of you.
Right.
It's be in front of you, and then like to me, I tend to look for composition. I blame it on my studies. You know, even at school, I know lines, perspective. You know what things are drawing to you. Like if it's going to be down mainstream, that's 1 point perspective or 2 point perspective. I have to give somebody, you know, like, well, try like this or stand like that or do a Dutch angle. You know, give me them camera angles. You know, give me a wide shot. You know, it all makes a big difference in my opinion. You know, and sometimes they're just accidents. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, take a million of them. I'll go through it later. You know, because I never know. You know, but I look at all those things. I just love composition in a photo. It's chef's kiss to me. You know, like, yet again in animation we can do that. We can like draw things a certain way, but in life you gotta have an eye for it. You know, so does this shirt look good against these contrasting colors? You know, I look at all those things. That's how I guess that's how I go about it, you know.
So what do you feel about the importance of incorporating your culture and your identity, like all parts of your identity in your artwork, your projects, like when given the opportunity? What do you want to do with that as you like continue through your career?
Wow, that's a good question. I want to incorporate the feelings, the acting. I have not had an industry job yet. I've been just like freelancing and trying to find my life, you know. But I think I'm more so finding myself. Like this recent shot that the woman cooking, I think why it's such a big response to it, because I always thought to myself, there's not enough animation out there that has like true Black feelings.
Yeah.
You know, I think only if they are out there. It's just not a lot of it. You know, still, I think we can add more and more to it. You know, my biggest influence was the Proud Family. Proud Family was, and I know every Black creator says that, but it's because it's true. Like it was, nothing was like that on television. I remember in Vallejo, like it was on the front page of the paper, like Disney releases a Black cartoon, and it was like the headline. I was like, oh snap! I remember I was saving the clipping, and I remember getting the VHS tape and like recording it every single day. And I always thought to myself, if I had the opportunity, like to like work on that project or to do something like that, that's what I want to contribute. You know, getting those Black emotions, and like I loved in Soul the barbershop scene. You know, the lineup, like those things means so much to me. You know, I still think to this day, I haven't seen in television or in movies a really authentic Black church scene.
Mm-hmm.
You know, how we act. We don't just say, "That's right, Pastor," but like how we actually say it. How the women say, they just rock back and forth like this. Like I haven't seen that animated yet.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to see. That's what I want to bring. You know, to the best of my ability, best that I can. You know, that's when I had that cooking scene. I tried to, when it first started off, the acting was like totally different. I was like, no, like when you cook something, you want your friends to be like, damn girl, this good. I wish you put it, this is hella good. Like, what's this? Oh girl, them ribs is hella good. You know, I want that moment. You know, and so even when you cook or you did an amazing job. Like my one thing people always ask me to make is macaroni and cheese. I just have my own way of doing it, and I'm like, oh, bring your mac and cheese, bring your mac and cheese. And when I get down, like yes. And that's the emotion that I wanted to do it. And it's so funny because everybody kept saying, I want to eat what she's cooking because it looked like it's good.
Right.
And that's what I want you to feel, because like people, we're so expressive in everything that we do.
Yeah.
Everything. Like I heard a magician say, like, I love Black audiences because when I do a trick for white folks, they were like, oh, that was lovely. Like we like, nigga, how did you do that? Did y'all see that? People come over here and say that. You know, we do all of that. We do all of that. And I just haven't seen that in animation yet. You know,
it was funny in the last season, in this last season of All American, they got an episode where they got a little get together, and there's some mac and cheese, and there's like, who made the mac and cheese? And everybody trying to figure, like the three Black characters try to figure out who made the mac and cheese, and the white girl come up like, oh, I made it, it's fine. And then the two football players like, oh, I got a game tomorrow, let me take this sandwich.
We don't play. Never no mac and cheese. Don't you dare put no damn vegetable in that mac and cheese. Croutons and shit. Nuh-uh. We want the noodles, the cheese, and the milk. And seasoning. Stop.
And then what you was talking about authentic Black experiences, like that's why I like the beginning of Into the Spider-Verse, because even when he was humming the song and he didn't know all the words, I was like, yes. We don't know the words.
We don't. We know the chorus. It may be like two good pops in the middle. That's just how we do. You know, I want to see the electric slide in a film these days. Like that's us. You know, I know that sometimes we don't like to go on stereotypes, but like to an extent, like that's us.
Right.
You know, we love to dance. We love to have a good time. We love good food, you know. And I love seeing Black culture elevated and praised, and like, seeing 20 something on Disney Plus was just like so on time. On time, because we all can relate to that kind of story, you know, of like being in our 20s. And like I was just telling my friend this, like we're all, in my opinion, we're all just kids at a different stage of our lives. No matter how old you are, you're just that little child. Just you just live longer than everybody else, but you still that young little child that has the same personality. You know?
I feel like our 20s is just realizing that don't nobody else know what they're doing.
Nobody else know what the hell they doing. No one knows.
So in your 30s, you're like, okay, so it's not that deep because don't nobody know.
Don't know. Oh, you know how to do this either? Like, yo, you don't know either? Okay, all right, we all just faking it. Okay, let's keep faking it together. You know, it's just so on time, and it was so amazing. And I love that film was made in the Bay Area. I loved seeing people. One thing I will definitely say is I want to see people whose stories aren't told being told. When people think of the Bay Area, I think of like San Francisco, and they're like, don't go to Oakland. And I'm like, no, like Oakland is amazing. It's amazing. Like in Emeryville and Berkeley, like those people are telling their stories. And I didn't even know like the older sister in that short film is my personal friend. Because you sign a contract, you can't tell nobody you sign a contract, And I was like, oh girl, that's you. Like I did a whole show with her, and I was in a play with her, and I learned so much from her. And I love seeing my people being represented in a film.
And I saw the Afton, the creator or the person who created the story, the song at the end was a Bay Area artist, Astu.
Yeah.
Yeah,
my roommate is a musician. He said, oh, I know the guy who made the music. I'm like, look at that. Like we're seeing, it's funny seeing like now people of my generation, my age, stepping into professionalism, of not like I seen you as an artist when we're like just shooting the shit, getting high, all that stuff like that, and like, oh, we just make a song here and there, we draw a picture here and there, but now we're actually moving into like making real films, not real films, but like making stuff that the world is getting able to see, like like your talent of where you are right now in this moment. I love the artist's hustle, the grind, before the big break, because that's where the meat is.
I feel like what you're talking about. I liked the on Netflix Always Be My Maybe, because I felt like in watching that film, even though I'm not from like San Francisco and I'm not Asian, I'm like, this film is probably like for the Asian people from San Francisco. It got so many little things in there where it's like, oh yeah, I remember that. But what they did had a little thing where you used to look through the thing with the picture, the little thing that you get from the amusement park. I was like, oh, I remember that. So, I just like those type of films where you could tell it's for like everybody can enjoy it, but it's like for an audience.
Yeah.
And I hope that more Black content is created where everybody can enjoy it, but it's like, ooh, that was for me.
Yes. I want to tell those stories about the Black kid in Mississippi or the Black kid. I know we always go to New York and LA, but like there's other places in the United States or the world where their stories need to be told, and I love that. I just love it's a universal story, because in all reality, we're all the same. We all want the same thing. We just have communication issues, and then people get mad at each other, like we're divided, but in all actuality, we all want a good life. We really do. And so you can tell any story with any person, but it's like when you have that person or from that culture, then you get down to like the nitty gritty of like, this is how their culture would do this, but still a story that everyone can relate to, Yeah.
So I have some questions like from I created like a BlkWmnAnimator animation tag, and so I want to ask you some questions. What is your favorite animated character?
Oh my God. Right on my mind. Peter Griffin.
Why?
Peter Griffin and Stewie. I just found out a relation to myself. I love Family Guy with a passion. I don't know if people like think that about me because I'm such a Disney person, but I watch Family Guy every single day, like just like decompress. I don't know why. He's just so funny to me. I was like one of my favorite characters. Peter Griffin and Stewie. I just love Seth MacFarlane's comedy. And I'm a singer, so I love hearing like the singingness and the funny wittiness. Going from animator to performer. So like Peter Griffin, of course. Oh, Oscar proud. Just like just nonsense, just like what the hell, and like he's just so funny. He's the most funniest to me, the funniest character in that whole entire show. And then I will have to say, oh gosh, this is a hard question. It's going on and on and on. I love Donald Duck. I think that's me. That's my personality. I get real pissed off sometimes, but I'm a joy to be around. And I talk so damn fast. Like, what did he say? Like, I don't mind repeating myself. That's who I am.
Right.
I would stick with those ones: Oscar Proud, Donald Duck, Peter Griffin, and Stewie.
Have you ever dressed as Oscar Proud?
I have not. I'm the worst cosplayer. Don't be fooled by that. I may Disney bound here and there. I just dress up nice, but I am not a cosplayer. I do not claim that. That's a well-respected profession.
Right. So, what's your favorite animated character catchphrase?
Oh my gosh! Wow!
You can say multiple.
I don't. When I was a kid, I used to quote Toy Story, Mr. Potato Head, all the time. And my dad was so mad at me because he was so sassy. And like, I remember he'd always say, "You uncultured swine," like stuff like that. Like I would like say like all of Mr. Potato Head's lines when I was a kid because I thought he was so brilliant in my opinion. And then I had a whole obsession with Mr. Potato Head for a very long time. Yeah, he's a great character. He's a great character.
What's your favorite animated movie?
Oh, dang it! Why
Pick like 5 if you need.
Okay, let's do 5 then. Okay, great. All right, awesome. So starting up, Toy Story is one of them. Toy Story was like a major influence in my life. Alice in Wonderland, 1950s version. The colors, just like it was mesmerizing. Other film, Princess and the Frog, of course, like that film was just like, oh, it came out when I was a senior in high school, and like my brother and I, my mom, we like flew all the way to like, where's the actual Disney Studios at? Is that Burbank? Was it Burbank? I think it was Burbank. And we went to the studio and watched the film, and like with other guests, and that was amazing. So like that film was like, also dear to my heart. Hercules, another film that was very inspirational to me. Like the muses, yet again, I was gravitating to Black people, not even knowing it,
Yeah.
But
I interviewed Roz Ryan.
Legend.
And she's from Detroit, like me.
Yes. Legend, like her voice is just so magical, and like it also to me it was like connecting to that church. Like I was always in church. I was always in church every day, and so like my comedy comes from church a lot. Like really playing around in the choir stand and messing around on the usher board and like passing notes and playing SOS and like tic-tac-toe, all that stuff during the sermon. So like having that little piece of like gospel in that movie was very influential, and I love the TV show. Like I also grew up heavily on like one Saturday morning and the cartoons. I didn't have cable back in the day, so you have to get it in where you can fit it in, and make sure you record it. Yeah, so I would say those films. Of course, I love other ones like Finding Nemo, another amazing film. Also, I love so much just Leica Studios. All of their films are just amazing. I think stop motion, they're wizards and witches that make these films because it takes time and patience, and I'm like my mind is blown every single time. And side note,
and they just opened up a little studio at Morgan State. HBCU. my
goal, my dream one day, if someone steals this, it's not like it'll be my vision, but I would love to have a Black version of Alice in Wonderland stop motion and be a musical.
Ooh.
And like I want it to be like HBCU inspired, like the Queen of Hearts comes out and like the whole like just the majorette dancers and like just black as hell, you know, like but stop motion, like never seen before, like this a whole new avenue.
Nice.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Wouldn't it be lovely?
Yes.
So do you have a guilty pleasure animated TV show? This is like either a kid's show, a show that isn't popular, or a show that you wouldn't usually admit to watching.
I guess to be Family Guy. I guess that I jumped the gun on that question. Like I guess with Family Guy, like it's not for kids, but I guess because I was in church all the dang time, and like actually my nephew showed me we were kids, and he showed me Family Guy, and it was just the most outrageous comedy. And I watch it day and night. And The Simpsons too. I wasn't allowed to watch that, you know, but you're in church, kid. You know, you can't watch The Simpsons. And that wasn't even was bad. It wasn't even that bad, you know. But it was prime time, and those shows where I loved watching them so much. I don't think any other shows that people think I don't watch. It's funny, even though I love a lot of Disney stuff, I watch a lot of dark stuff. Like dark cartoons. Like, you know, I love adult humor in cartoons because it's funny because like that's literally just kids, you know. And as I get older too, I see the adult jokes in the films that were meant for us. But I get it now.
He's everybody in the movie theater.
Yeah, kids aren't making these films. They're not like preschoolers back there animating. No, it's just grown men. Making our cartoons.
Do you have a favorite animated show intro theme song?
Intro theme song. Ooh.
Mine will probably be Chip and Dale.
Oh my gosh. DuckTales. Woo. Yes, all DuckTales, all the Saturday morning cartoons. Yeah, the church clap. The whole choir came in. Hercules had an amazing theme song. Proud Family had an amazing theme song. Like, come on, Beyonce, Destiny's Child, Kelly Rowland, Michelle Williams, Solange Knowles. Like, that was amazing. Kim Possible had an amazing theme song.
Yeah.
I try to think who had a bad
song. Do we have theme songs anymore? Like, that was lit when we was growing up, having the theme song, and it'd be either the rock. Like some of the theme songs could be a legit rock song.
Yeah, like one of my guilty pleasure songs right now. Oh my goodness, Teen Titans Go, Night Begins to Shine. I don't know who wrote that song, but God bless them. I'm like, that song is Night Begins to Shine. Like, I love that song. Like, it's just so good. It's really good. Yeah.
Kev on Stage. Do you follow him?
Kev on Stage?
Yeah. He just had a video where he said he was talking about how The Climb by Miley Cyrus is a gospel song.
Let me tell you, Kevin on Stage and me are like literally here. Like, I want to meet him someday. Like, because I was that churchy kid, really like sheltered. But Miley Cyrus, I saw that like a white woman in the shower. I felt her. It's The Climb. Keep the faith. Baby, yeah, yes, it was good. Yeah, I'm here with him. I'm here with him.
So this is going to be a hard one.
Okay,
so that you can include puppetry in this too. What is your favorite type of animation? 2D, 3D, stop motion, experimental, puppetry? You got to pick.
Ooh. Well, 2D is my favorite, I think, because like I have just a connection to it. Like, I just love it. But I love when they mix mediums. Mitchell's versus Machine was chef's kiss. Like, you mixing the models with 2D. Oh my God, chills over my body. But I do love when it comes to like other forms of like storytelling. Like, puppetry is amazing. Like, I don't know if you've seen the reboot of The Dark Crystal, or even The Mandalorian. The choice to put an actual puppet, an animatronic there, is so beautiful to me. I love that old movie making. Like, let's build a set. I love that we can 3D model. those sets. But I love when you actually build it, because there's nothing like real lights hitting a real set, or real lights hitting a real puppet that character has to have to act with. You know, those films are just, I don't know, it's something about, they put juice on the films back at, I don't know what they did, but like it has a different feeling when I love prop designers. Like they could actually really sculpt something and really make a set. And like the Dark Crystal the on Netflix, they wanted to animate it, but they said no, we should like do how Jim Henson did it and like let's build everything. It's expensive, but I think when you throw money at something, you're gonna get a return back. I think so. You may not see it right away, but you can't half-ass it. You know, you can't half-ass it. That's why I love 2D. Like, you know, it's hard work. It's hard work. It's laborious work.
Yep. That's why in college I BS my way through that class, because that's
Mike told me, like, he said, once you animate your first ball bounce, and if you don't have that special feeling in the back of your throat, like, oh, it's moving, it ain't for you. And I get it, because like for some people it was hard, like, you know, but whenever you find your niche, whatever it is, like for you as a modeler, like I know you're gonna put the best effort into modeling that thing. You have to do like the best effort into it, because when you love something and you appreciate the art behind it, you know, it doesn't matter how long it takes, because it's going to be timeless at the end of the day. It's going to be timeless. You can watch the film like, over and over again.
I've seen people 2D animate and it kind of tricks you into thinking, ooh, and then you try it again, like, oh no, I just appreciate it. Like, can't do it.
I love where things are changing. Like, I love seeing like 3D models. I forgot it's the what film it is, one of the Short Circuit films on Disney Plus. But it's 3D animated, but they got the texture so right and lighting so right. It looks like stop motion. You know, that's the beauty. I can't remember what the name of the film is.
Is it the Willoughbys or is that actually stop?
That one looked amazing too. That was stuff like stop motion, but it's a I forgot the name of the film. But it's a short film on Disney Plus about a young girl getting on the bus and everyone's like depressed on the bus, and she's all colorful, but it has a very old school feel to it, but it's still a 3D model, which is amazing to me.
Yeah, I feel like I've watched most of the shorts on there. I gotta find that one.
Yeah, that one, I can't remember the name of the film. But another amazing one, amazing work. So yeah, it's hard to pick which one, but I love them all when they're done well.
So a few more questions. Like as you continue your career and start to get into the industry, what do you feel like you'll decide is your purpose in regards to like Blackness or Black people in animation? Do you feel like you'll be a mentor? Do you feel like, what do you think you'll do?
Oh, I'm not sure. I'm not totally not sure. It's funny, like I'm actually a high school art teacher right now. And that's been the hardest job of my life, because teenagers are like special creatures. I'll just say that. And
I just taught 9th and 10th graders last year, so I understand.
It's something else. I have to say you have to be careful. No, you have to be really specific what you pray for and ask for. I said, Lord, whatever I do, I want to make sure that my art, I can inspire the next generation. Now, I didn't really truly mean be an art teacher like that, because, but he said, okay, you want to inspire the next generation? Here you go, right front and center,
Right.
But I think what's the best thing, I'm not sure if I want to be a mentor, but this job is teaching me how to mentor, because for some reason, my friends always said I explain animation really well. Like even if they weren't animators, I can explain like how it kind of works, and like, oh, that's simple. I get that, and so like I guess that just got me the job. I can like explain things, but I'm learning I have to break things down so much, because if you say it one time, I guarantee you one child got it. So how you gonna say it different ways so everyone else can get it? You know,
Right.
and so I don't know what this part of my life is right now, but I know it's for something, and if it's to help me in the studio life, you know, how can I work with different personalities and explain things to like everyone? That's a gift. That's a gift. So with that's fine. But I must say I would love to be a Black voice to change history. I think we all kind of do. We all want to like leave something behind. And I always say I want, if anything, I want to work on one film that is like life changing. That's a big feat, but like I say, might as well just shoot for the stars
and land on the clouds.
Lay on the clouds. So it's not wrong. It's still shoot for the moon, lay on a star. There it is. Just lay it close. Just go close to it.
Just have big dreams.
Big dreams. Yes.
What do you hope for the future of animation as far as like innovation, storylines, characters? Like, do you hope to see yourself?
Let's see. My hope really is to like just make things black. Just blackity black. That's not a good answer. Right. I feel like, but like I want to see us. I want to see us. You know, like one thing I've really noticed growing up, I wasn't really like an anime fan. Like that. I didn't grow up like that. But I'm watching more now. Demon Slayer, amazing show. You know, like I'm loving and seeing that, and I've also noticed that Black kids love anime. Like this is like all this connection of like we just love anime, we love fighting, we love like, you know, just pushing through, you know. And my hope, my goal is that Black storylines and storytelling becomes on that level of like the world just wants to see more of it. It doesn't matter, but I want to see more of it because we are a vibe. Like we set the culture, we set the trend, we set the vibe, you know, all the time, you know. And the funny thing is, like, you know, when the world loves it, we as African Americans, Black people, we already moved on to the next thing.
Right.
Y'all got rock and roll way after we invented it, you know. And so now I'm like, I want that to happen for us in animation, like that we just like, y'all see that new film by so and so and this and that, you know, that new cartoon show, and we won't be seen as that Black show. Yeah, we're just seen as that amazing show. You know, just that's all I want to go by.
And
you know,
I don't watch anime, but what I've learned about it is like there's so many genres, and there's like, you know, a lot of anime has food in it, and that'll be perfect for Black people.
Okay. The whole food segment, you know, I want to see us like doing that. There's just so many avenues. I would love to see like more like seeing shows that like highlight or movies that highlight Black things. Like I watched a documentary about roller skating and the culture like roller skating. Like you know, we have roll bounce, but that really isn't like I watched the documentary, like that's not really the real story. You know, I would love to see that animated through a story. You know, with that and then those sci-fi elements. I love to see more African Americans in sci-fi. We love sci-fi as well. Like I want to see the Star Wars with all Black characters, you know, and that's just that. Not that there's a whole big controversy around it, but that's just the storyline.
Yeah, because the sucky thing about like sci-fi and futurism is that it's like, okay, y'all don't see Black people in the future either, so okay, thank you. like we can't be in the past, the present, or the future.
Right, we're nowhere sometimes, and that disturbs me. And but like, I love now seeing the films that are out, you know. But I never wanted to be like, you know, I felt like it for a while that Disney had like a checklist of princesses. Like, okay, great, we have our Black princess, check. Asian princess, check, Indian, and like a Native American. I'm sorry. I'm like, and then they're done, and I'm like, nah. It's like 5 white princesses, probably has one story. Like, no. And so like, and then it's hard because when we put those films out, we judge so hard and we put it to such a high standard because it's one of very few. You know, like Soul, for example. Like, but imagine one day there's like 5 films with a black lead in a Pixar creates. You know, so they have options. So there's no more pressure. Like, I have to be the sole, no pun intended, sole like film. You know, to be represent all black people. Guys, we're not a monolith. You know, we're so many stories, so many stories.
Yeah.
Well, on that note.
So, I know you got way more life to live. If someone was producing a documentary about you, what things would you want them to highlight outside of your like artistic endeavors?
Oh wow, good question. Oh my god, some of my artistic endeavors, my whole life. I like plants. Oh wow. Let's see. I think outside of like the artsy side, is that including like performance art as well? I'm just wondering.
No, you that could be an alternative for your documentary.
Okay, yeah, now I see that. Like, okay, yes, music and singing. Like, yeah, that was a very big part of my life. A huge part of my life actually. Like, I grew up in church singing. I was in a group with my brothers, and I sang background for some artists. I auditioned for Hamilton a few times. That's like been a big part of my life, and so I've always been like this big, huge split down the middle, like animation life and then performance life. You know, but learning, I guess, for me, how to be confident as a performer. You know, and being okay with like owning who you are, no matter what. Like, I admire, for example, like Megan Thee Stallion, when she's like, I'm the best, and like staying firm in that, like, you know, and that you are the best at what you do anyway. So yeah, you are the best, you know. That's one thing I also noticed when I was in school was that animators and artists can be really shy people. Because that's what we just are sometimes. Not all of us. But I was like, speak up. You got a voice. You know, speak up, girl. You all right? And like everyone would be so humble about like their art, like, oh, it's okay. It's like, no, you drew this. Look at that. It's amazing. I did this. Shit. Come and look at this. You know, like no one went to like pat yourself on the back, you know.
Right.
So I learned that through performance. Because we had to be on stage, we had to convince the audience in real time, you know, that you are this character. Or you have to convince them or draw them into this song, you know. So I would have to highlight that part of my life as well. Yeah.
So where can people find your art and follow you on social media?
You can find me. My names are kind of changing right now, but my art Instagram is BlkWmnAnimator, and my regular Instagram account on my Disney like clothes and bounds and whatnot. That is timeless_Disney. Is not Tim. Hey Tim, my name is not Tim. It's TIM3 LESZ _ Eddie. Okay, so yeah, and find me there. I'm not super active on Twitter, but I'm getting a lot better. You also can find me at BlkWmnAnimator on Twitter, and more to come, like more collaborations. As much as I can, but teaching these babies, these amazing little high schoolers that take all my time up. But you know, just I'm always here. You know, hit me up. Oh, I forgot to mention my art, my animation website is BlkWmnAnimator.com as well.
So thank you for coming on my platform and allowing me to interview you.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. I must say, you are the first African American 3D modeler that I have met, and your work is amazing. I love your work.
There are more. Sorry, my internet is acting stupid right now, but
that's okay.
There are more of us. It's very few, but there are more.
Yeah, that's one thing I would say about the pandemic. Man, they're out here. I never knew that, but I thought we all kind of just like rose to the surface, like we're Black and we're here, and I'm like, oh my goodness, hey, how are you? I can talk to you for a moment. I love that. I love that.
Yeah. So, I guess I'll say again, thank you for coming on my platform, and to everyone out there, I want you to like so I know it's real, comment, tell me how you feel, subscribe to Seal Deal, and sign up for post notifications to show your zeal, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.